Man lands on the moon, an event eclipsed by a boy with blonde hair and an acoustic guitar. My last night in Paris, I want to kiss him goodbye, maybe more. I screw up my courage with Mary Kathleen and 2 confectionery cocktails. These are our first real drinks. She wants to kiss her boyfriend, too. Lucky for us, they're roommates. Together, we tiptoe down the 3rd-floor hallway of a Parisian hotel. Together, we fumble in the dark. Where's the doorknob? It takes a moment for our eyes to adjust. 2 beds, but not 2 figures. In fact, there are 4, naked and asleep. 2 boy men wrapped in the arms of older girls. Women, really. We know these women. These are ones who already know how to drink. I leave Paris the next morning without saying goodbye. I have just turned 16. I didn't really drink until my university years. In high school, I did a lot of babysitting, flourished in school, and treasured my friends. Everything changed the summer I turned 16. My grandmother sent me to Europe for 6 weeks, and the world popped open like a milkweed pod. But it was brief. It all blew away when I flew home. Besides, my mother's drinking had become disturbing. I had no appetite to join her. So when I meet 17-year-old Laura in a recovery group, I ask her out for coffee. All I know is that she has recently survived a small heart attack. I want to know more. I want to know what it's like to become an alcoholic before you have completed high school. I want her whole story. We agree to meet in a coffee shop on a crisp November afternoon. A tall girl with glossy chestnut hair, Nivea skin, and a winsome smile. She pauses and looks away several times before she can begin to talk. She lets her tea steep, wary eyes focused on the long line of cops at the register. I begin to wonder whether she has second thoughts about sharing her story. Who could blame her? There's so much to tell. Laura, as she wants to be known, has never had a legal drink, and she hopes she never will. There are days when I feel like I'm 90, says the 12th grade student. My friends say they think I could drink again, but I say no. I'd end up on the top of a building and wonder how I got there. Laura tells me she had her first drink at 9 and took to it immediately. I thought I had arrived, she says. I remember thinking, the party-goers will accept anyone. The only requirement is to get lost. I felt like I could lift buildings, and I thought, I'll never love anything as much as I love alcohol. That love affair lasted several years. Sexually abused as a child, debilitatingly anxious and bulimic, Laura shuffled homes, from her mother's to her father's to various aunts and uncles. Alcohol was a daily constant, often pilfered from relatives' liquor cabinets. As long as I didn't have to be me, I would drink it. I felt like my skin was 2 sizes too small. When she was 14, her stepbrother got married. She celebrated by downing 9 shots of tequila. I ruined his wedding, she says, matter-of-factly. I threw up my body weight. My grandmother said, I feel sorry for you. I didn't hear her correctly. I thought she said, I'm jealous of you. That's how much I loved drinking. The summer between grades 9 and 10, she decided to turn her life around. She stopped drinking and joined a rugby team. But when she was injured, she took muscle relaxants, which she downed with alcohol. She overdosed. My hands were yellow, she says. My liver was failing. By grade 10, she was taking vodka to school in a chocolate milk container, drinking in class. At 16, she started stealing the anti-anxiety drug Ativan from her uncle and buying it on the street. She loved OxyContin, did cocaine. At night, she kept alcohol in a Gatorade bottle by her bed. Her voice is very flat, but her gaze is direct. On December 26th, I was raped by a family member. In January, I began having panic attacks, so I started mixing Ativan and alcohol. But I ran out and went into withdrawal. 2 days later, I was called into the principal's office. While I was there, my arm went numb and my head went backwards. I couldn't inhale. They called an ambulance. Turns out I had a mild heart attack. When she was in the hospital, a crisis counselor asked Laura, when was the last time you liked yourself? I didn't have an answer, says Laura. It changed my life. 2 weeks later, I went to rehab.